my brain has taught that if you get punched twice in the forehead, the third time you should duck.
This is The Profit Factor, a podcast where we explore topics around edge, process, and mindset to help traders become consistently profitable. In today's episode, we've got Tim back. I love talking to Tim because as a new trader, he is experiencing so many of the challenges that a large portion of traders are experiencing, whether it's developing edge or creating new processes, learning the skills of trading, going through the prop firm experience. And today we're going to talk about mindset. That is a topic that I know is top of mind for a lot of traders. So let's get into it.
Yeah, so like when I go on trips, I'll have some Mountain Dew, Diet Mountain Dew. And so like a year ago or like 2 years ago, I was at a friend's wedding for his daughter. His daughter was getting married and he was really busy. He was like running from place to place and we went to the reception and he's like, oh, I could really use a drink right now. And in my world, a drink means soda. It doesn't mean like what it does for most people.
Yeah.
So I said, I'll go grab something for you. There was like a Maverick, and I love Maverick. Like we don't have Mavericks here in Texas, but if you go west of Texas, they have Maverick convenience stores, gas stations.
I have no idea. Yeah. Okay.
And so I'm like, all right, dude, like, tell me what you want. And he's like, no, it's way too complex for you. I'm like, it's a drink.
Yeah.
He has this whole recipe, and I wrote down. I'm like, okay, this, but the key part of the recipe was, so you take Mountain Dew, and then at Maverick they have these pumps of cream that are chilled, and he said, and he had the specific number of pumps. He's like, 6 pumps here, and then, and so I tried it and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a game changer. Like the Diet Mountain Dew with cream in it is amazing. And then you can add like a vanilla flavor or, something else, mango. Like if they've got it at the convenience store, a lot of times they'll have those little mix-ins.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it. So I look forward to travel when I'll have a soda, but other than that, I don't, it's water.
Does it wreck your stomach? All that cream?
It's not a lot. I mean, it's like,
6 pumps, man. Cream.
I mean, it's cream. It's from a cow. I mean, what's wrong with the cream?
Yeah.
You got a problem with cream?
Yeah, I guess. No.
White?
No. Yeah.
You got a problem with color white?
No, we're good.
we're gonna blow up YouTube here.
Right? Canceled. Get this guy Stockwell out of here. Man.
I know.
I'm triggered. Yeah.
I'm triggered.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. This
All
world
right.
we live in is so interesting. Oh my gosh, Tim. It's Friday, so I've got my dad jokes loading shirt on.
Oh, that's why you got the jokes today. That's where that comes from.
Yeah, my daughter gave that to me. I love the dad jokes.
That's awesome.
For sure. Yeah, gotta love dad jokes. All right, man. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
It's Friday. All right, how you feeling?
Dude, I'm feeling good. I'm ready for the weekend. Trading is scary.
Trading is scary. What? Why is trading scary? I don't get that. Tell me
Because
more.
you have to trust yourself, like on things like you can do. Like you've been coaching me, you've been helping me so much, and we've come up with like things that are pretty like a process. We've come up with a process, come up with an edge. Well, my brain has taught that if you get punched twice in the forehead, the third time you should duck. You should duck. So that's what trading. So like you get hit twice in a row and you're watching your loss, your P&L. Yeah. And then you go back and you look at your P&L, again, and you're like, okay. And then you see it happening the third entry. You're like, it's going to do it again. and then you pull out, and then it goes pew. It's like I should have stayed in. Yeah. But then the next time, it's the third time again, and you're like, I'm gonna be a man this time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay in. And then it's like, and then you really feel like the market knows you specifically.
It's like, oh, Tim has a long position on. Let's mess with Tim.
That's literally how I feel. It's like I literally put my computer down. I'm like, they know I got in. They know I got it. I don't know how they know. I need a VPN. I need something. They know I got in.
What's so fun talking to traders is I guarantee you, like every trader watching is like, oh yeah, that happens to me too. Like we're sharing this common experience with each other. Everything you're feeling and thinking and all of this. Yeah. I mean, every trader's feeling the same way and thinking the same thing. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I'm like, how did the market know that was the one place where I put my stop and it went right to my
one
stop
place
and then turned around. Right.
Taylor, I've watched it go slightly long for 45 minutes and it's just slightly going up. And I'm like, you know what? It has to go up when I get in. Yeah. You get in and it's like, it's like, how was that possible?
Yeah, I know.
Like, it's just crazy. So then I'm like, so then my brain starts working like, okay, if they're doing this, you know, I know that there's like liquidity grabs, right? So it's like, I feel like, is everyone else doing the same thing I just did? Like, and it's like like the market sees that and they're like, oh, we're going to grab all this cheese on the table. All these suckers got in at the last minute. So, yeah, it's like a whole mind game, man. It's crazy.
So I don't know if you remember, like when we first got started, and I think maybe even in our first live stream, I talked about this aspect of, I don't like to coach traders on mindset until we've done the edge and process work, until they've actually, you know, kind of started solving that piece of the puzzle. And then I can coach on mindset. Right. And so like I told you, I said, like the mindset's going to be a big part, but you got to do this stuff first. Right.
Yep.
And so now this is fun because now we're kind of getting into the whole mindset component. You're beginning to see and experience the mindset part of trading. Whereas before it was like, all right, I got to learn my platform and I got to learn this. And I got to learn that. Okay, I see this. And right, you were kind of in this learning absorption mode from a technical skills perspective. And then from a process perspective, now it's the fun work.
You have to be so obedient, dude. You have to be so obedient. So the last time we live streamed, I lost my PA account. You know, that was the last time we streamed.
Yeah.
Guys, somehow
this is crazy.
The Apex, this is crazy. Like, this is absolutely nuts. Okay. So guys, the last time I was on a live stream, I lost my PA account. I lost my funded account because allegedly. Yeah. And somehow like 3 days later, I'm trading another evaluation account. I was on my, I think 10th at the time, 10th evaluation account. And out of nowhere, I had to go to my Rhythmic and my PA account's there and it's not admin. And I'm like, what? And my last trade like didn't count. It was like they took my last trade, like they forgave me, like the Apex gods forgave me.
They're like, we'll help Tim out.
They're like, this guy, we're going to give him a break. And they took my last trade out. But the thing is, my trade wasn't much. It was literally like, I think it was like 90 or $100. So it only gave me, that $90, $100 room again. So I was like, I had to go to micros and that hurt me. Going to micros sucked, bro. Cause you were there and you were like, dude, just trade 1 or 2 micros. You got to be very careful right now.
Yeah.
So,
well, I told you that before.
You did. No, you did. Yeah. I didn't listen. I was like, cause when I did my evaluation, my last evaluation that got me my PA account, I was trading heavy. I was trading the ES and I did 6 contracts like a couple times. So it was like, I passed it in like 4 trades and I just got lucky that everyone was good. I lost like 1 trade out of the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's not the way to do it. Cause it's going to, even if you pass the eval and you have that approach, it's not going to work in the long run. So I learned my lesson, like actually learn the process and build true faith in it. And then when you get your PA account, you can make some money. You can have some success.
Yeah, I like that. We had that whole good discussion last time or last time we talked about how do you actually position correctly and plan out your attack and all that kind of stuff. So I think that was a really good conversation. So I have a question for you. So like before you started trading, what was your point of view or understanding or interest in just mindset as a topic? Was it even on your radar before?
Yeah, dude, I've always been a big mindset guy because I've been a big mindset guy, but you showed me a different level. Like, I don't know a lot of people that are older than me that are kind of truly into mindset. And I think out of everybody I know, you're the deepest one into mindset. Like you physically have changed my life. I've told you, the stuff that you taught me. For those that are listening, guys, I've been with my girlfriend for a couple of years, and anytime you have two people in a relationship, you're going to get into arguments. You're going to get into this stuff. And, we don't argue much. We really don't. We're not crazy people. We're good people. But like it happens, like there's a misunderstanding. And I come from a different background than she does and everything. So like what Taylor taught me, Taylor, he was in person. He came to my place and he was like, you got to remember that everyone sees things from like their point of view. Like it's your perspective. It's your, Taylor, I can't remember the exact words you used, but what was the word? There's a word. It's a circumstance.
Oh, the circumstance. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, it's a circumstance. And then ever since that, dude, it's changed everything I do. Like even relationship with family members, like my dad could say something and before I'd be like, that's absolutely ridiculous. Like you have no idea what you're talking about. And I realized he's seeing it from a certain angle. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had dude, you've changed my life. Like since July, whatever it was, I saw you've literally changed my life. Yeah. And you just have to keep implementing that every day of your life,
Yeah. Why do you think, like you said, you've always been kind of interested in mindset, right?
Yeah.
But having that interest, did it translate to anything in your life that resulted in changes? I'm talking about before talking to me, right? But anyway, I'm going somewhere with that question. So tell me what you think first.
Okay. So it all started. I grew up in sales. Basically, I went to school for finance, but then I got an internship at Mercedes-Benz. So I ended up doing finance with them and sales. And I learned that, in sales, a lot of it is like energy. Like if you wake up that morning and you feel like I'm not going to get any sales, dude, you're not going to get a walk-in that's not scheduled and you're going to sell a car. I promise you it ain't going to happen. If you have that good energy, there's always that guy that has that good on energy. People walk through your door. He's feeling good. He's like, dude, how's it going, man? You ready to buy your new Benz? It's always that good energy. And that's how you get good sales. So I know it's a mindset thing. Like literally it changes your income when you're in sales. So I took that and then sales is a crazy world. So I was like, I got to get out of it because the parties are crazy. It wasn't what I wanted in life. And I knew that at some point you're capped when it comes to what I was doing. So that, and then friendship, and then just relationships, like in general, dude. I didn't know you have a dog, dude. I didn't know you had a dog.
Crazy dog, man.
Yeah.
Someone comes to the door, she goes nuts. We know people are here.
Yeah, I didn't know you had a dog. Oh man.
Yeah.
But so yeah, like I knew since late teen that like mindset is everything. Like it's absolutely everything. It's how you're gonna raise your family. Energy is the most powerful thing we have. Like a lot of people don't understand that. I got very far just off of energy. That's how I met you, dude, because I feel like when we first met, our energy was like that. We were playing that game in the backyard and I was like, guys, we were crazy. I didn't know who he was at all. And we were like doing like the Arnold Schwarzenegger like grab. We were like, yeah. And that's and look at us now. Like, look what we're doing this now. Yeah. So yeah, energy is very powerful, but if I would have met you and I just would have been moping around, you'd be like, what's up with this weird guy? Why is that girl dating him? Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, why is that cute girl with that guy? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. He's a weirdo. Yeah.
Yeah. I think like for me too, like I've had a long-term interest in mindset. And I would say like, when I was your age in my 20s, like I didn't even think about it. I thought about it from the perspective of, I struggled with some mental health issues in my early 20s. So I had really, really bad anxiety and panic attacks. And so my first exposure to any of this was working with a psychologist that helped me learn how to meditate. And that had really massive changes for me in my mental health, at the time. And so that lasted that was probably about a 3 or 4 year journey for me, which was really tough. But after that, it was like, I wasn't thinking about mindset from the perspective of, how do I apply this every day in my life? It was more like, what are these tools that I have that can help me to manage, whatever mental health struggles I might encounter? You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I looked at it. It was like a tool that I used, when things were really bad, not something I would necessarily pull out on a day-to-day basis. And it sounds like you've made a little bit of a shift too, right? Like where you use the tool for a very specific thing in your life, which was, hey, how do I be a better salesperson? Now you're looking at it from a different perspective, which is, hey, how do I use this to enhance everything in my life? Right. Is that fair?
Dude, no, you're right. Sales is part of it, but also like I told you, we didn't come from much money. Like I grew up in pretty much a trailer park. So there was times where I had a Volkswagen Scirocco and I was at the lake. I had like a little flip phone, right? All the kids had iPhones and everything. My phone had no signal, no nothing. And the battery was bad and it broke down. It didn't start. And it was 11:30 at night. And I'm just like, all my friends left the lake. Everyone's 10 miles walking minimum. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I remember at that point, I felt like, what's the point of this? Why are we here? And I just remember that was the first time I remember the click of it's your mindset. And then I literally just, you know what? It was cold. It was freezing. It was like 30 something degrees, man. It was ridiculous. And I remember it was freezing and I just put my seat back and I'm like, dude, I'm just going to sleep it out. We're going to camp. And then eventually they came back the next morning because they heard I wasn't home and I was there and told them what happened. And that was the first time I realized it's your mind, because I could have been like crying or like just mad at life, mad because we didn't grow up with money or whatever. Like there's so many things you could have felt, but I didn't really feel that. I was just like, you know what? I'll see him in the morning. Someone will come for me, And that's when I learned that like I could have mentally made it worse and I didn't. And that's when I learned mindset is everything. That's how you look at it. And
where did you learn about mindset? Like from where did you read books? Were there certain books that really had an impact on you? Or
mindset, dude, where did I learn mindset? If you would have asked me at the time it was mindset, I didn't think of it like that. I just looked at it because, I'm a Christian. So I look at it as just, I didn't call it mindset back in the day. It was just like, it is what you think it is.
Yeah.
If you feel like life is good, then, some people can say I'm poor. And it's like, well, there's people that are really poor. You have no idea what poor is. Yeah. And then you get people that, what I'm saying? It's your perspective.
Yeah.
So
I think it's super interesting. And I titled the live stream today, why mindset is so hard. Right. Or why is it so hard to fix? So I had to check it just to make sure. Why is it so hard to fix? And because I'm thinking about my personal experience and I'm wondering like, hey, was my personal experience unique to me or is it pretty universal? And I think it's pretty universal, right? My experience was, especially in trading, there are so many awesome resources out there for trader psychology and mindset. I've read a ton of them. I've got tons of books. I've got programs I've done. I've got all kinds of resources that have been available to me. I think Mark Douglas is a master. I think, Brett Steenbarger is a master. We have some really, really fantastic people in this kind of this mindset space for traders. And the puzzling thing is we still have struggles as traders with mindset. I did. I read all the books. The books and I still couldn't quite crack the nut. Still couldn't figure it. I couldn't figure out how to apply what I was learning and reading. Right. And so for you, it was a little different because like you weren't necessarily absorbing that information, but you kind of had this idea of, what mindset was about. I had an idea of what mindset was about, but those ideas weren't necessarily having a daily positive impact in my life. I don't know about you. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. No, I mean, it was not daily, like you said, but yeah, it was definitely like a big part, like you attract, I always believe in like the law of attraction, and I believed it before I knew what that was.
Yeah.
And that's like 100% the case,
Yeah. You have that, you have a gift. That's a gift to be able to kind of innately and naturally kind of have that inner belief especially without having cultivated it from learning it. I've had to cultivate that through my life, right? I've had to kind of learn it and learn how to believe it, change my limiting beliefs, right? So for me, it's been a little bit more of a journey, right?
Yeah.
So why do you think mindset's so hard for people to fix? I have answers to that question, by the way.
You had the facts.
We're going to get there. We're going to talk about it, people. We're going to talk about it.
Right.
But Tim, why do you think mindset's so hard for traders to fix?
Because it's how we learn. You're going against how you learn. Like if you're, doing some crazy stunt for a company, for Red Bull, and you keep jumping off this roof and you watch someone else do it and they complete it. And then you jump off the first time, you break your ankle, you wait 6 months, you do it again, you break your ankle again. The third time you're going to be like, it ain't supposed to be for me. And the guy's telling you, you're landing wrong. You're like, no, I broke my ankle twice, bro. It ain't me. It's my ankles, So it's our natural instinct to not fail, like to try not to fail. And it's our brain. So when you come against trading, when trading is such a crazy thing, there's no 100%. Not that I know. No one's winning 100%. So there is no 100% blueprint to it. But there's times where you can have a process that works really well, and you can lose 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
And be like, nah, I don't know about this. And then you play it over the next 2 months and you're like, dude, this is great. This is a 2.0, 3.0 profit factor, Yeah. So it's like, and there's times where you can win 4 times in a row and, get a PA account, and then you lose a couple of times and you think you just got lucky now.
Yeah.
So the doubt, we're naturally supposed to doubt ourselves. We're not supposed to, but like we naturally doubt ourselves for survival instincts.
Yeah. Yeah, all those are just really good. I wish that I had the ability to like bring on like people who are watching the live stream, because I want to know, if you're watching the live stream, I want you to kind of think about your mindset right now, kind of where you are. And I think for traders, like, just be honest with yourself too, like be really vulnerable. Like honestly, you're probably not in a great space with your mindset abilities, right? That's how most traders are. So if you're in that position, like ask yourself, and maybe even answer here in the comments, why is it so hard for you to fix your mindset? Like, what do you think is the answer to that question? Right. I never thought about that question. Like it never crossed my mind, other than as a judgment. Right. It would always cross my mind as why can I not get this? Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Why can't I figure this out? Is more of a judgment question than an honest curiosity of, why is it so hard to actually change my mindset? Right. And then kind of do that exploration. Right. I wonder if people are doing that exploration.
I feel like a lot of times when people are asking themselves, like, just like you said, they're actually judging themselves. They don't realize that. Because I've been there where I'm like, how come this isn't working? But actually what I'm saying to myself internally is, why do you suck, bro? I know, right? Like, why do I suck? And you can't do that. You have to actually just do the numbers. And it's almost like I've done pretty well when it comes to, trading and mindset, and it's literally because of you. And I'm so blessed to have you. And I generally say that because I can only imagine all the people that don't have that supportive person in their life.
No.
You know, like I can message you and be like, Taylor, like, dude, this is crazy. And you're like, no, dude, just this and this. You got to make sure you're doing this. Like, this can work. Like, you'll tell me this works. You just have to do your process. You have to remember, stick with it. You'll tell me that. Stick with it.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine the people that don't have that person. Like,
I'm telling you things that you already have a base belief in. And
yeah,
so
absolutely.
So let's get into some of the brain science around this question. Like, why is mindset so hard to fix? Well, actually, let me go back and answer it in a couple ways. So first, like, I told the story about me because I think one of the big challenges that we have as traders is we have access to what appear to be exceptional pieces of information and knowledge about mindset. Okay, so when you have access to information from people like Mark Douglas and Brett Steenbarger and all these other guys who are absolutely fantastic at what they do, you're getting a surface level understanding of what trader psychology looks like, and I think that's really good. But we sometimes fool ourselves in thinking, well, that's all I need. All I need is I need to read this book. I need to read Mark Douglas. Hang on, I got a cough.
Yeah.
So I think, like, if we go into this thinking all we need is a book or all we need is a YouTube video, I think we're kind of destined for failure, because what we don't have is. Oh, you got people over there?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah, no worries. I'm like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah, sorry. I'm like watching my mic go up and down. I'm like, crap. Turn down.
I'm used to doing like a group call with people, and I'm like, how are people on YouTube able to like be on my call?
Yeah,
that was my
yeah, sorry guys, it'll be over in a sec.
No worries. So I think like having the information is really great, but what we don't have, what we lack is the tools to apply it. The application part is missing, right? And so I think that's one very big problem in the trader world is we have good information, but we do not have the practical tools to actually make it usable for us to fix things that are going on with our mindset, right?
Yep. No, you're totally right. And I just saw a comment, like, Giovanni Denor, I saw you said the fortitude to follow your trading rules will fix 80% of your losses. I can tell you guys that, like, if you follow your rules, win or loss doesn't matter. It's like the same thing when people say, if you're going to do something, give 100% because you don't know what it would have been. If you don't follow your rules, I feel like you don't know. Like, if you truly follow your rules, there's so many times, Taylor, I almost like 60, 70, 80% of the time, I haven't been following my rules. Like, I'll cheat on some slight level. Even when it comes to me winning, I'll take my target and I'll like pull it down. I'm like, dude, I don't want to lose this, and that's our fear of losing, So when you do that, you kind of really handicap where it could have gone up to the roof.
Yeah, Giovanni, I love your comment. This because this is kind of the heart of successful trading, right? Is what you state 100%. And I think where a lot of people are struggling is the fortitude part. It's not, well, I will say, let me just say this for any trader listening. Most of the traders that I start working with, the first problem that I can find in their trading is that they actually don't have an edge in their rules. So I do want to state that most traders think they have an edge and they actually do not. So that's usually problem number one. But this idea of fortitude is really big, right? It's a really big challenge and a big problem. And I want to explain why. Why is it so hard to have the fortitude to do something like this? And it goes back to what you said, Tim. You actually brought it up. You said you kind of talked about the brain and how your brain works, right? Mm-hmm. So our brain, there's a couple of aspects. We'll get into kind of how the brain works a little bit here because I think it's really important. Okay, and Tim, you're going to have to be the voice of everybody on the listening in. So you got to jump in and ask questions, right? But you've probably heard me talk about this, so maybe you don't have any questions. And you guys in the chat can ask questions. So first thing is a lot of what we know about the brain comes from scientists, right? Researchers. And one of the best researchers is Daniel Kahneman. And he wrote a book called Thinking Fast and Slow. Highly recommend it. It is very deep and technical. So good luck getting through it. But it's a great book. And he talks about how the brain, the way we make decisions is there's two parts to our brain. There's a system 1 and a system 2. And this is really important for traders to understand. Okay. And I did a little short on this, and it doesn't really explain, really the value of understanding this information. System 1 is your brain working in autonomous mode. So most of the things that we do, we can function in life without actually thinking. We can drive from one common place we go to another common place we go to, often without really thinking or thinking about other things, right? We're not thinking about, okay, I have to turn the wheel here and I have to I'm going to need to reduce my speed, right? You kind of like are in autonomous mode, driving or doing something that you commonly do over and over and over again. Okay. So your brain wants to be efficient and work like that as often as possible, because when system 2 kicks in, that's when the thinking begins. Tim, what's 2 times 2?
So, no, I'm just kidding. 2, 4.
Oh my gosh. Let's wish we could edit now.
Right. We'll cut that out. No, it's kidding.
How about 367 times 55?
I wish I knew that.
You got to engage your cognitive thinking, right? Your prefrontal cortex now to figure out, okay, this is a problem that autonomously I cannot resolve, right? So this system 1 controls things like your memory access. It controls pattern recognition. It controls emotions. So a lot of times our emotions are on autopilot, right? Too. So remember that. Like if you're feeling a strong emotion, it's because you're probably on autopilot. And so system 1 controls a lot of the functionality that we do every single day. System 2 is when we start thinking, we kind of engage in this thought process to deliberately do something different than maybe what system 1 wants to do. So I use as an example, you're driving along in the car, you're going home after work, you've done the route 1,000 times, you're thinking about going out for the evening or what you're going to do on the weekend or whatever, and you're just driving along, you're making your turns, and then all of a sudden you see flashing lights ahead. And what do? Well, what do most people do?
Yeah. Oh, most people they get aware or they slow down. They hit brakes.
They hit the brakes.
Yeah. Me and you probably do that. Some people are like, "No, I'm perfect. I don't
hit the brakes. Check my speed."
Yeah.
Right. But what's happening is there's a deviation from the path. There's a deviation from this automatic, path that you're on, where system 1 says, "Oh wait, this is new information. We need system 2 to chime in here and think through what we need to do." Right. And so system 1 will tell system 2 to get engaged and get going. Right. So that's what's happening in our brain. We have system 1 working most of the time. When something is different, then we go to system 2, and system 2 starts thinking, it starts analyzing, it starts evaluating. Right. And that's where most of the energy that our brain takes up is being consumed. It's consumed when system 2 kicks in, right? They've kind of proven, the energy depletion that happens when you're thinking with system 2, right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. No, the system 1 and system 2 thing, I think that's helped. I remember in your course, you talked about this, and that was like one of the biggest things that helped me realize that you can't just when I was trading before you kind of helped me build a process and edge, I would just kind of just go off the basic things that you can see, just looking at lines and looking at patterns and whatnot. And when the market starts going up, I used to buy in right there. That's system one. That's totally system one. System two, you look at the 15-minute chart, you look back, you see what the market's doing, like if you're going to trade momentum wise, and that's how you approach that. But the thing is, a lot of times I would buy in and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go long here because the market looks like it's going long. And then I would do the rest of the homework because system one kicked in immediately. Then I would like look at the 15-minute chart, like I was going, look at the EMAs before I would just get an alert on my phone, market's going up. And I'd just be like, boom, let's get in. Yeah. And that screws you every time. Yeah. It's a toss up when you do that.
Yeah. And so like, part of the challenge that it's so hard to change our mindset or fix our mindset is because of this interplay between system one and system two, and where system one is in control most of the time. So if you've created for you a scenario where you've got trading rules and you violate your rules every single day, you are reinforcing that autonomous behavior in system one. And it takes more energy and effort to stop, like to recognize, oh, wait, I'm about to violate my trade. Most people, and you guys can tell me in the chat, like I think most traders, a lot of times they'll be like, I took that trade and I'm not sure why. It wasn't part of my rules. I just took it. You know what I mean? It's like, it was like a reaction. And it's because you've kind of trained system one to make those reactions in your trading, right? And that's what you're talking about. You're talking about you trained yourself when you get an alert and the market's going up, place a buy order, right? So system one is a wonderful thing because it allows us to function. But in trading, we've created all of these habits that system one is just going off of, right? Just saying, oh yeah, okay, look, when I get a little jitter in the market, I'm supposed to enter. So I'm going to tell my finger to press the button, right? So you kind of have to learn how to retrain your brain. And so this is back to Giovanni's, comment, the Fortitude. Part of that comes in retraining, following those rules. Right.
Yeah, so you're 100% right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was saying that's what a mentor is. That's what a coach is. A coach is a system too. Like, I think that's what it is. Yeah, like if you just in war, you have the general. You do not want people like the general doesn't hit the ground, and he's like he's not as much as the man because he's not out there with a gun. Yeah. No, dude, he's system two. Yeah. He's seeing, okay, our men are getting completely flattened. We need to do this. We need to retreat. We need to do this. When you're system one, the troops on the ground are system one. They're like, no, we just keep going forward no matter what. Yeah. So that's what like you are to me. You're my system too. Like you're like an assertive system too.
I'm assertive. I like that. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what it's like.
Yeah, you can see things. That's why you don't want to. Yeah. That's why you need a mentor. That's why you need a coach. That's why in growing up, you need the parents. They're system two. You want to touch that. You're a kid. You want to eat all the cookies in the candy jar. You're like, dude, your stomach's going to hurt.
Yeah. But we can't always have a system two coach, third party, around us all the time. Right. And so the question is okay, like I know now we know two reasons why mindset's so hard to fix. Okay. Reason number one is because we think the information we have is sufficient to fix it. And it's really not because we don't have the tools. Right. Two is we're playing against our brain and how our brain works. Okay. So the bottom line with the brain and the system one and system two is it's all about resource utilization. Okay. Your body wants to work efficiently. And if it takes more energy consumption to engage system two, right, then you want to limit that as much as possible because just survival mode, right? And system one is a very efficient way to function. And so naturally, we just want to gravitate toward working in system one, okay? Because our brains want to operate efficiently. So we're kind of fighting against not having the right tools and our brain that wants to work this way, okay? So there's a third reason why, mindset is so hard to fix. Okay. And that has to do with our belief system. Have we talked about beliefs yet?
Not really, not too much.
Not too much.
I can't recall like the actual word belief. I don't think that's come up too much.
No. Well, it's interesting because you and I, like, just to get a little bit personal, right? You and I have a shared experience where we both left our childhood religion and joined a different religion, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's really significant because most of the beliefs we have are formed when we were children and we keep them around. It's kind of rare for people to challenge the beliefs that they kind of grew up with and then kind of make different decisions. So we're kind of not necessarily unique. I know a lot of people have switched religions and, at some point in your life, you start questioning, what you believe and what you want to believe, but it takes, maturity and time. Like, it takes us a long time to start questioning our beliefs, right? In some ways. So you went through a period where you questioned a belief in your religion. Are there any other areas of your life where you've kind of sat down and said, let me think about what I believe about this thing. And is this something that I want to keep as a belief?
Well, yeah, just like my dad, growing up, we're all blue collar. Like, that's how it was. And that's how the way to make money was to trade your labor for it. My dad was a construction worker. He was a crane operator. So he had the best job on the site because you're in a crane air conditioning, but it's still your time per hour. It was still $30 an hour, and raising a family in Georgia is that much, be honest with you. That's nothing. And that didn't get us by as much. When you talk about college and everything, that doesn't help. Yeah. So especially when you didn't grow up with money skills, having to save money. No, dude. So growing up, it was blue collar. And then I challenged it always because I was like, there has to be a better way to do this. I love cars. That's just something that I enjoy. And I went to a car show one time and I saw this guy with a Lamborghini Aventador. It's today they're like $800,000. Back at the time, it was probably $300,000-400,000. And I remember talking to this guy, and I remember my dad. He was like, "These are nice things, but we don't own stuff like this." And I was like,
interesting.
What? Yeah. I never forget that. Like, that burnt me because it hurt. It broke my heart because I thought we were looking at this because this is what we're going to own one day.
Yeah,
So when he said this is next level stuff.
This is not who we are, son.
Yeah, and I never forgot that. And I was like, "You telling me I'm never going to own that? Like, how? Like, this dude owns it, And then the worst part is when the car show's over and you see all these Lambos leaving. And it's like, you telling me I have nothing in common with these people. Like, you telling me my brain is that far off compared to these people. And that's when I was like, I've got to do something different. And this is tying back to energy because, I think I carry positive energy where I go. And I met this kid in sales that was doing marketing for Mercedes. And this kid was 23 years old and he drove a brand new BMW i8 when they first came out. Yeah. And he was like, so he's like a big shot. And he was like, "Hey, Tim, let's go hang out, whatever." So we went, this dude had a $2.2 million house in Lake Kiwi in South Carolina. And he was 23. And I'm like, this is nuts. And that's when I was like, okay, this is possible. This is possible. And he showed me marketing and I ran a market agency back in the day and, stuff, it didn't go well, but we made some money. It was fun. And that's where it ties back to energy and mindset. Yeah. Because if I never would have questioned that time where my dad was like, "This isn't what we drive. This isn't our stuff. Let's go back and hop in my Chevy Avalanche."
Right.
If I didn't question that, you stay with that mindset.
You do.
Yeah. Like, you have to be strong enough to question it. And that's the reason why we're here. And I've had some great experiences in life, man. And you have to, it's all tied together.
It is. And the thing about beliefs, right, and underlying beliefs, first of all, I call that like there's beliefs that you can state, yeah, I believe that this and this. And then we have a whole bunch of beliefs that I call underlying beliefs, or kind of the stuff that's under the surface that we don't always question, we don't think about, right? They all have an impact on us. Okay. So because if we go back to system one and we think about this idea of system one, system two, how is system one making these quick, rapid decisions on what to do? Like, what framework is it using, do you think?
Yeah.
It's using, well, I don't want to throw a question out there when I'm like, I hate leading questions. Like, I have one answer in my head and I expect you to kind of guess what it is. Can you guess what I'm thinking in my head, Tim, what the answer is?
No, I can't guess what you're thinking in your head.
It's a terrible question. I hated when my teachers did that to me. I'm just going to tell you what's in my head. System one uses our belief structures. Okay, so when system one is engaged, when it has to resolve a conflict in any information coming in, it's going to gravitate toward whatever our existing belief structure is. Okay. If I threw out a sentence, I'm going to get political here. I love it. Mm-hmm. Biden is the best president who's ever lived.
Yeah.
Right. Or I can also say Trump was the most amazing orator we've ever had.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I don't, without making any further judgments in those areas.
Group chat.
I'm pulling up. YouTube canceled. Without making any judgments about those statements, I just like what you think automatically, your first thought and reaction to that, your first emotion, which is guided by system one, okay, is going to be based on a current underlying belief you have in your politics about the political environment, right? If you lean liberal, right, in the United States, that first statement about President Biden, I feel good about that, right? Mm-hmm. If you lean liberal, that statement about Trump, you'd be like, what? Never. Go the opposite way, and it's going to be the inverse, right? Yeah. So system one is kind of operated within the guidelines of what your belief structure is. Okay. Yeah. And so, again, third reason why mindset's so hard to fix is because we have a whole bunch of beliefs and underlying beliefs that are guiding what we do every single day in the decisions that we make and our minds and what we think. Right. And so, those things are kind of just out there, and they're kind of like the code, the operating system code that's running us. Yeah. Yeah. And most people don't think about, how do I change my operating system?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, I recently went to Chappelle came to Atlanta, Dave Chappelle, and we went to that, and he talked about this very lightly. Because there's this young rapper that I think he's crazy. His name is Lil Nas. He's like wild. And Dave Chappelle was like, you have to live your dream and believe in your dream. And this is quoting him. He's like, you have to believe in your dream. He's like, because I met this young man. He's like, I've been around for years. He's like, I've been all over the world. Everyone knows me everywhere I go. This guy came up to me. I was at some club in LA. This guy came up to me and walked over to me. He's like, hey, I tried to get you in one of my music videos or whatever. It just walked away. And he's like, I realized that I'm in this guy's dream. Like, he's not in my dream. Like, I'm in his dream. And he was saying, and that's the mindset part that you have to believe, And even in high school, we had this kid named, I think his name was Cole Mosley. This kid, everyone, if you would have, been there, you would think this kid was going to end up being some drug head kid that never got anywhere in life. Yeah. This kid, I believe he's still skating for Red Bull to this day. Mm. And I'm just like, wow. And I remember that's all he did. He didn't care. He didn't do work. He used to just say it, he had baggy clothes. He was like, dude, I'm going to skate for Red Bull, bro. And we were like, yeah. And he's like, I'm skating for Red Bull, my G. And he used to always say that. And he wasn't even that good at the time. To this day, I believe he's still skating for Red Bull.
Red Bull or bust, man.
Dude, I'm telling you. And that's like the mindset. And that's his system one, was like his belief system.
Yeah.
he spoke that into existence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've met a lot of traders who trade successfully, and a lot of them who went long stretches, and myself included. I went long stretches of not doing well, not being consistent. And, one of the common themes about guys who have gone through a long journey to get consistently successful is similar to that. It's just this underlying belief, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get, eventually I'm going to give me enough time. I'm going to figure this out. Right. That's part of the belief structure. As soon as you start believing, I don't know if I'm ever going to get it. One of the worst things I ever heard is, I really like this person. I'm not going to say who it was, because they're in the community that you would know, or other people listening on my channel would know. And he did a webinar. He was doing a webinar, and someone had asked, hey, in your research working with prop firm traders and other traders, have you found just some personality types just aren't right for trading? And to my severe disappointment, he answered, yes. He said, yes, I have.
Yeah.
And then he described me. not me specifically, but he described me. He said, guys, this character, this grew up poor, don't have, never had a cushion, blah, blah, blah. They're never going to make it as a trader. Never going to make it as a trailer, right? As a trader. And I was like, what? No way. I'm going to make it as a trader. Right. And so I do believe this. The good news about all of this, we've talked about how hard it is to fix your mindset, right? Yeah, there's barriers, but the good news is it can be done. It's not impregnant. I'm going to use that word. Impregnable. That'll get me in trouble.
Impregnable. Yeah.
It's a barrier that can be overcome, right? It's a hurdle that can be overcome, right? Because we do have really great modern tools, and we don't have time to go into those tools or, kind of how we work on mindset, and I kind of reserve that for my coaching anyway. Right. Yeah, but there is the ability to change that mindset and shift the mindset. And I think what he was referring to wasn't this natural personality types or environments that people are in. I think it's more of people's mindset, and a mindset is not static. You don't have to continue to have the same mindset. Yeah. Right. And you've experienced that. You've had a shift in your mindset. Yeah. Even though your mindset wasn't necessarily a major problem for you going into this, right?
Yeah. Well, it still is. There's times where when you also don't come from much, you have to learn quick.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that when you see, I failed here, one here and here, you're like, all right, this ain't looking too good, But no, you're right. And I also want to say this. I've seen some of how you trade and some of the stuff. Yeah. On paper for me, if someone said this guy was a trader, I'd be like, I have a friend that kind of does what you used to do. I'm like, no, that's not really for trading. It's not casino type, but you made it work for you. You trade a system that works that way. It's very interesting.
Yeah. It's amazing. I don't know if we have any. Questions.
JM, yes sir, bro.
I know, right?
Yes sir, let's go, baby.
Blue collar. I know. My first job was What was your first job? I'll tell you mine. But
first job, dude. I ran. I was cutting grass in my neighborhood, and it got really big. We had.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah, we had 113 homes. Eventually, I had employees and gave it all away because I thought I was going to go play baseball in college. So I basically sold my houses to Gibbs awesome. Landscape. Yeah, they still have them to this day.
That's awesome. Yeah. I filled potholes at my uncle's tennis club. Yeah, it was awesome. filling potholes. I think it was 12 or 13. It was the worst. Child labor back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like, I look back on my life, and it's easy to kind of look back and tell. And here's one thing I'll offer to everybody, because we're not doing any coaching. I'm not, I know that I've kind of presented, hey, here, this is a problem, right? Here's why it's hard to fix. And I'm not giving you any solution, but I will say this. I'll say, go back and look at your life and write out the story of your life as is. Yeah. And for me, I actually can tell two stories. And I think this would be a good experiment. Tell both stories. Tell the story as if it's the worst thing in the world. Talk about all the hard times, how challenging it was, blah, 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 blah. And then turn it around and tell the story the same story, but as if it was the best thing in the world for you. Just do that. Because I think like one of the first things that you'll see is your perception about you and your life and your history can be very different. And you get to choose it. You get to choose your perception. Nobody's telling you to think one thing about your beliefs, about you as a trader, you as a person, you and your history. You're 100% choosing that for yourself. Right? So go back and write your history as the worst thing, and then rewrite it as the best thing, and look at the difference. I think you'll see a huge difference there for sure.
And I just want to say this too, for all of us that are into trading, one thing I had to learn is risk over reward, and how much you're risking. If you risk a year, hours trading, once you get a hand on it and you're doing well in trading, dude, it's gone. It's not like you're getting good at working at, you just say McDonald's. It's not like you're getting good at running a McDonald's. But if you realize you know how to run a business, now you can go from management at McDonald's to a bigger thing, and it keeps going. Like, that's with everything in life. Yeah. But trading specifically, you just be like, yeah, I might be getting my butt kicked right now, but once I figure this out, we start turning up contracts, doing the stuff Taylor tells me not to talk about, not to do.
Not prematurely.
Contracts, guys, let's go.
Not too soon.
No, not too soon. But once you get the ball rolling, it's not a linear curve. I think trading is an exponential curve. It does like that. And I've seen what you can do. You obviously know what you're doing. You know what you're doing, and you're still learning. I've seen that too. And I know I've seen people, we've all watched, Patrick Whelan and all these guys. Once you figure it out, guys, the numbers are insane. This is why something I highly recommend, do not quit trading if you ever feel like this is it for me, because just like anything in life, you get to that point where you're like, life just does that. Life tests it, like it tests you. Like, it'll get you to the point where you're like, this is where you should quit. And as soon as you don't do that, that's when boom, it goes up. Yeah. So, and Namdo, I see your messages there, Namdo. Like, you're right, dude. And absolutely, totally true. Absolutely. And thanks for being here, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Time and determination and tools. Get all the right tools, which I'll leave you with this tool here. So Consistency Accelerator, it's the program I run. It's the coaching program. We cover everything from edge, process, mindset. So, join it. Would love to have you. I'm actually doing, are you going to be in the workshop I'm doing in December? Are you going to be there?
No, I should.
It's a 3-day workshop. I'm doing it on the goldfish trade, the goldfish setup. So,
dude. Yeah. You have to be there.
I'm going to teach it to everybody in the accelerator. So I'm teaching a setup, and the reason I'm doing this, so it's going to be kind of cool because, first of all, the setup is very mechanical. It's like super clear rules, right? Tim, right?
Dude, I'm just going to say, I didn't know you were going to say this. Guys, everyone that's listening, this is what he's taught me that helped me pass my eval in 4 trades.
Yeah.
Like, if you are not part of this, I didn't know he was going to say this. Like when you say goldfish, I was like, oh gosh, he's going to give out goldfish, bro. Like it's a mechanical setup, guys. It's not momentum. Like it's literally mechanical. Like dude, clear, I can't believe you're doing this. Rules. This is crazy.
Very clear rules.
Yeah.
So here's the reason I'm doing it is because, so what I'm finding with traders is, one of the big hurdles in process. I'm going to go back, to the earlier comment, from Giovanni about Fortitude, right? One of the challenges of having Fortitude to actually follow a system is discretionary rules. Because when you're looking at at a potential trade, you start getting all kinds of thoughts. Well, that thing's not quite right. This is kind of a process trade, but you can talk yourself out of a trade being a process trade, right? And so, that's one of the challenges we have with trading is like we'll talk ourselves out of a trade or talk ourselves into a trade. Mm-hmm. Mechanical system takes all that discretion out, and it's like, look, these are the rules.
Yeah, that's it. All of them. Yeah,
and I gave Tim, and what I'm giving is they're not optimized rules, and I can't I'm not guaranteeing anyone to have success or profits or anything like that. Like it could be an absolutely horrendously losing month, but you will learn how to identify a system, patterns, and you're going to teach yourself how to have discipline in following rules. Because in the end, it's just black and white. We're gonna finish with colors the way we started the call.
Yeah,
black and white, baby. It is black and white.
Yeah,
whether you enter or not, it's just super clear.
Yeah,
and
it's very clear. Yeah, and it works.
And when you have that, and we're going to go through, you're going to be expected to do back testing and other stuff, but you'll do 20 trades. And at the end of 20 trades, you're going to measure not whether or not you're profitable, but whether or not you've actually followed the rules. Because this is about following the rules. So the bonus is you get a system that probably pretty decent, Yeah. We have other rules to make it better than what I'm going to teach, but I'm going to teach the very more simplistic rules to make it simple and easy. And this is about really training yourself with discipline. So I'm excited about it. It's the first time we're doing something like this.
That's a big one. I didn't know you were giving that out. Yeah. That's a big one, bro.
I'm not giving it out. This is
if you're not giving it out. Yeah. But
part of the Consistency Accelerator, you get to be part of the workshop that we're doing in December. So, and
I just want to say this, guys, once you learn the goldfish method, you learn something about the market that you're not going to know. You have to do some digging. You have to do some serious test. When you showed me goldfish, I was like, I was never going to find this in my life.
And you can't unsee it anymore.
Now it's like,
what?
yeah. Now I couldn't do this without goldfish. There's no way. Yeah. But I really, genuinely, guys, I didn't know he was going to do this. We don't even know what we're going to talk about. He literally is just like, Tim, you're on for one. And I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So, that's awesome. I highly recommend anybody do it. That's a big one. Yeah.
I'm excited.
It works. Yeah.
Tim, right. as always, awesome to see you. Everybody, thanks for coming. Happy Friday. Next week's a big, holiday week. I don't know what the market's going to do up until Wednesday. So good luck. Trade smart next week because it could be pretty wonky. So that's my advice. Trade smart.
Everybody in the comment section, thanks for being here. Jay, Justin, Nam, everybody. Yeah. Absolutely. Great having you guys.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. All right.
Robert. Yep. See you guys.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. Check out my YouTube channel at The Profit Factor on YouTube. But if you really want to amp up your trading game, take a look at my Consistency Accelerator program. This is a program that was designed to systematically help you become consistently profitable. It includes coaching and course material around edge, process, and even mindset. Check it out at www.gettheprofitfactor.com.